Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, finally, to the fifth dimension. We have a very special guest with us here when it comes to The World Ends With You or The World Ends With Me. Everyone, please welcome the leader of the Wicked Twisters himself, Lord Rindo, Paul Castro Jr. How are you doing today, good sir?
Hello! Thank you so much for having me in for that warm welcome. I am undeserving. How are you?
I'm doing great, and bro, we aren't even gonna get started on the whole conversation of what deserved or not. Please, no, I don't wanna hear that noise. Alright.
I'll try.
So it's funny. Before we dive right into the fifth dimension here, me and Paul, when we got onto the call not too long ago and stuff. First of all, I'm sorry for starting a little bit late because my green screen was not having it. I had to fix that. And then when I was giving the spiel to Paul on how we do things here in the fifth dimension, I actually, like, organically, it led to me saying, all right, so Paul, when we're doing this, don't fret. And I'm like, oh no, we're doing it. we're doing it.
But
it's gonna begin. It's gonna begin. So besides the fact that Paul Castro Jr. over here is the voice of Lord Rindo in Neo: The World Ends With You, you are very much experienced in the film industry. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I would say I've definitely been around the old Hollywood block, or the New York block, really is what it was, because I started out in New York City doing. I started doing theater, like off-Broadway stuff. I went to school in New York, NYU, which many people might be familiar with as an acting school. Martin Scorsese went there, just to put some context to the type of people who were coming out of the school, and I am nothing like them. But I started getting into auditioning for indie films and stuff, and I worked on a couple of, I did a movie called The Skeleton Things with Bill Hader and Ty Burrell and Kristen Wiig. I did a movie called People, Places, Things with Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords, and a bunch of other movies. I just did a movie called The Garden Left Behind with Michael Madsen and Ed Asner. So I've been working a lot in New York doing that type of stuff. I've been on TV shows like Blue Bloods and Limitless and Law and Order. That's like, you know, if you're a New York actor, if you don't do Law and Order, then you're not a real actor coming out of New York.
I love SVU, man. That's like that's actually one of my. I would say it's not really a guilty pleasure, because I was one of those kids where it was like, okay, when I'm homesick, I would turn on the TV, and then Law and Order was always in daytime. I'm like, yo, this is really good. Like,
yeah. I love Law and Order too. My sister is like a tremendous fan. She was like, oh, "You're gonna be on Law and Order." I'm like, I've done other stuff, right? But it's like, no. But Law and Order is Law and Order. It is, for some reason, that was like the only thing that got validation, was the fact that I was doing Law and Order.
Right, man. That I think I remember that episode too. Wait,
it was
like 2015.
Honestly, you probably would know better than me, because it's at this point the last like 7 years of my life have been like melded into one, and the pandemic didn't help either. Like, it's someone told me that it's been like 2 years since I've moved, and I'm like, what? I just moved last month to LA. It's not been 2 years, so my concept of time is bonkers.
Yo, same thing, man. Ever since I left high school, it's just like, like I was telling the chat on a previous stream that ever since I left high school and I finished college, I was like, school is actually really good for helping you keep track of time.
Yeah.
Like, I wake up, I'm like, yo, what day it is? Oh, it's Thursday? Word? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's especially with like the type of work that I do and you do. It's like the difference between a weekday and a weekend. It's like there's
massive.
A difference. I feel like every day is work day.
Right, exactly. Like, every day could be work day, or every day could be the weekend. It's like
that too. Yeah. That's the flips. Yeah, it depends on your mood.
Right. So I really wanted to get that down, because you got a bit of a pedigree going on from acting in Hollywood and in I would say more traditional film and TV shows. Now, when we're gearing towards voice acting in video games, if I'm not mistaken, Rindo is actually one of your first few roles or did you have any roles before that? Let's count anime as well when we come to all that, I say pop culture stuff.
Sure. Well, I had done some anime. I've done Record of Ragnarok. I did High Rise Invasion, both Netflix shows, and but video game wise, Rindo was the first of those.
First.
Well, it was the first game that I No, that's not true. That's not true. It's the first game that came out that I recorded when I moved to LA, because in New York, a lot of people don't know there's a big market difference between New York and LA.
Right.
And New York, there's a lot more commercial, radio, and promo type of voiceover work, but LA is really where the animation, video games, and anime is, and obviously Texas too for anime. But yeah, it was the first one that came out, and it was kind of like, oh, okay, I get to make kind of a big splash on my first thing. But
what a splash, bro, man!
Yeah, it's been truly surreal. It's been mind blowing. I've welcomed all the love, and it's really just. I don't feel worthy of it. The community of The World Ends With You and Neo, it's just so passionate, so loving, so welcoming. I really feel like I hit the lottery.
Oh man, because let me tell you this right now, because when it comes to certain video game communities and voice work, especially when it comes to the main character stuff, I feel like it's very make or break it, because I'm not speaking for every community, but like, okay, let me rephrase. I'm not speaking for every community, but a little bit of every community has those very critical types, right? And I can tell you, right, and I'm pretty critical when it comes to like voice acting, but can I tell you, and this is not just like, oh my god, like The World Ends With You and stuff, dude, Rindude, can I say you knocked, for your first like main video game role, you knocked it out of the park. I was like, dude, this man is like, you just encapsulate everything, and not just how you portray Rindo the character. The one thing I really want to segue and talk to you a little bit about is that, can we talk about your battle quotes for a little bit? I want to know where you drew that from, because if this is your first game and you have amazing battle quotes in that game, like your grunts, like how you're like very aggro, even though you're like, soft spoken outside of battle. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Where did you draw inspiration, or where did that come from? Where did you get that from?
First off, thank you so much. I don't know how to respond to such kindness. I feel like I get so flustered, and I feel so, gosh, it just feels so out of body in a way when people have such a reaction and compliment me. It just seems like it's such a, when you record, specifically for me, when I go in and I record these jobs, video games, or even film work, like you go in and you have a really intimate, work. Like you just go in there and you have a really intimate, private moment going through whatever it is you're doing. And I go in trying to just do the best job that I can. That's what I go in there to just try work as hard as I humanly can to do the best job, the most honest job possible. And you don't really prepare, at least in my sense, for like what the reaction is going to be. So to hear that people are resonating with it and you're complimenting me so kindly, it's so out of body. And I really do appreciate you and everybody else who's taken their time to express that gratitude or admiration or just thanks for it. It makes my day, because I do this for the younger me, which is a lot of people who are getting into video games or play video games, just people who want to escape, dive into a story that makes them feel like they could be the hero. And I just feel a tremendous amount of responsibility, pressure, and honor to be a part of it. So just want to get that out of the way. So thank you so much. Long-winded. And so for the battle quotes, it's funny you bring that up, because I'm a huge gamer. I'm leaning on the shoulders of giants here, and I got a lot of inspiration from playing other games, and a wonderful voice director in Bob Buchholz. He also directed, Final Fantasy VII Remake and a bunch of the other Final Fantasy Square titles. So he was super, he'd say, no, like, let's try this. But really, he gave me the freedom to say, like, okay, here's the reference track from the Japanese. But like, what I had some moments to kind of do my own thing. Like, it's the one famous or whatever it is between the community that people like is when I go, woo! And that was just like, he's like, all right, let's just do something that seems a little like fun. And that Rindo, if he's like really ecstatic about whatever is going on, and that just kind of came out, and it was really fun. But I really learned a lot from people like Haley Joel Osment and Jesse McCartney and James Arnold Taylor and all the wonderful voice actors who I've got to just kind of come behind it. And obviously, Jesse, David Cordy, who played Neku in the first one, you get a sense of the style of this game. And obviously the Japanese actor who had laid the amazing blueprint of Rindo that I got to then, make my own a little bit. So it was just really fun. I have a lot of experience as a consumer. I play so many video games, JRPGs specifically, and so I felt right at home.
Oh, that's amazing. And I am so glad that you brought up Haley Joel Osment and Jesse McCartney, because in my head I was like, do I or do I not bring up Kingdom Hearts in the stream? And Paul, now it's over. It's over. So now that I know that you play Kingdom Hearts, it's time. I got a million and one questions for you.
Please. I love Kingdom Hearts. I really love Kingdom Hearts. I think that obviously, The World Ends With You has a relationship with it from Dream Drop Distance, and it's I think if you love The World Ends With You, you'll love Neo, and you'll love Kingdom Hearts, and vice versa. If you love these games or that game, I can't remember which one I started with, but goes both ways.
Definitely. So now, in that sense, I gotta ask you a couple of things and stuff, because obviously now you already told me that you played Dream Drop Distance. But before we get to the Dream Drop Distance part, I want to make sure, did you beat Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind yet?
Kingdom Hearts. So here's the thing. Kingdom Hearts 3 was the only game that I had not beaten. Okay. Of all of the Kingdom Hearts, but I started playing it on stream not too long ago, and I literally got up to right before the end of the game, and then that's when Neo and all that stuff was coming out. I had a lot of work, so I'm like right after the Keyblade graveyard, spoiler alerts of everything, so I'm like really, really close to the end. I'm like a days away of playing, and that's like the first thing I'm getting back to once I finish Neo.
Oh, and then you gotta get that DLC done. Oh, it's gonna be grand.
I can't wait. I've heard such great things about it. I've somehow avoided spoilers, so it's but I'm okay.
I'm surprised you were able to do all that. But
here's the thing. So I do know some things, and I know the ending. So that's a lie. I do know the ending of Kingdom Hearts. I do know that.
All right, you know the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 or the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind? That's the main question.
I don't want to. I'm probably gonna spoil something here. So anybody who hasn't beaten it or whatever, close your ears now. But I know that there is a scene where Sora wakes up in Shibuya, or what appears to be Shibuya. So I don't know which of those that is.
All right. Okay. So now that I got the perspective, I know where which link to go in. All right, let's dial back to Dream Drop Distance a little bit, because that's a very important game when it comes to the Square Enix fan base. With Kingdom Hearts and The World Ends With You, because we do see Neku there, along with Shiki, Joshua, Beat and Rhyme. Now, from that perspective, it's not like, and I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, including that of Paul. This is just me speculating and asking, how would you feel? Because I keep theorizing, especially after playing Neo The World Ends With You, which I haven't beaten, by the way. How would you feel in the case of Rindo's character making his way, a version of him at least, making his way to Kingdom Hearts?
Gosh, it would be, from a personal perspective, again, I'm such a humongous fan of the series, and I've told the story maybe only like once before, but I can distinctly remember the first time I got Kingdom Hearts, the first game. My family didn't have a lot of money, and we were in Costco with my dad, and the game was there, like on the shelves when you could just take games before. It was just like, yeah, we don't trust people. You got to kind of like come to the front desk to get the game. So I remember sneaking the game onto the conveyor belt when like we were ringing out, and my dad wound up buying and pay for it. And he's like, what the heck is this? $50, or maybe it was like $4 at the time. It's like, please, it's Disney, it's Square Enix, my two favorite things. And ever since then, the game has had such a tremendous impact on me. And obviously, just I love Disney, I love Square, I love Final Fantasy. It would be, gosh, a possibility, obviously, knowing what happened in Dream Drop Distance, and also like Smash Brothers at the same time, like any of those opportunities to be a part of those franchises that I played so heavily as a kid, I would be so I don't know what I would do. I really don't know what I would do. I would probably scream so loud I'd lose my voice that they'd have to recast me because I couldn't perform.
Jeez. Nah, like I'm totally down to see you in like in not even as just Lord Rindo, but like in any of your projects as Rindo or beyond that, knowing your voice capacity, voice work, yo. I want to see more of you. Like it's crazy. Like I'm still so like it's funny earlier in the stream when you're like, oh, I don't know how to, you know, I don't know how to absorb all of this praise and stuff. I don't know how to process the fact that this is your first video game, your first main video game role. I mean, like, what from like what you put in to Kneel the World Ends You, it would have fooled me that you've been doing this for 10 years.
My gosh. Well, just know I have a grin from ear to ear right now, and I am blushing. It's again, I credit a lot of whatever my success or professional experience is to being obsessed with games and obsessed with the culture and knowing it in and out to the degree that I'm like, oh, I get what they're going for here. I know that this is the style or the genre, and that stuff absolutely helped me beyond belief. Does it help in every scenario? No, but I credit the rest of that, like the combination, the melting pot, if you will, of kind of my acting skill to just being a really, really hard, passionate worker and dedicated to the craft. When I was training in New York for, you know, all those years and even till today, I go at it 110%. It really means the world to me to tell these stories as authentically and truthfully as possible. There's a lot of responsibility in doing that, and it influenced me as a kid. It gave me hope and gave me passions and kind of purpose. So I feel I need to give that same honor the same way actors like, again, you know, Steve Blums and James Arnold Taylor's had done for me. I feel like it would be a tremendous disservice to the community. I take a big interest in any project I work on as much as I humanly can. And I just really, really love telling the truthful, vulnerable stories that most people, we don't get to talk about in real life. And that's why obviously movies and TV and media resonate so much, because they're the things that all of us kind of universally experience. And then we put them on the screen for everybody and we go, oh yeah, that is a thing. That is something I feel. That is a story that I like. So, you know, I don't really, again, I'm probably circling around the question in a million different ways, so I apologize, but
No,
I really just, it means a lot to me. And I just think that I'm a hard worker. So I may not be the most talented right out the gate, but I will outwork most people because it means that much to me.
You know, like when you said that I may not be that talented right out the gate, I'm like staring right into the camera. Like, I hope you feel like me staring into your soul when you say that. I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, Paul. Like, okay, sure.
I do. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll believe it one day. And I do know my worth, and I do believe I always preach to other actors to recognize their worth, know their value, get paid what you deserve. Specifically, that's a note to voice actors who oftentimes get taken advantage of. But I do know my worth. It's just more like the global scale at which a game specifically like this is, you know, it just feels surreal.
Right? And you know, a lot of people have been waiting for this game for a very, very, very long time. So you can expect
myself included.
Oh, see, right there you go. And you could expect that whatchamacallit, the expectations for this type of game, of how it's presented, to be extremely, excruciatingly, hilariously high, right? Yeah. And even with that, you know, perspective, I felt that a lot of people, I have not seen one. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen one complaint of the game, but it has nothing to do with you. I've seen virtually no complaints of Kneel the World Ends You. The only complaint I've seen is like, okay, the dodge iframe window is not that great, but I mean, like, who's dodging in this game? Like, well, whatever.
I agree with you. I know. I mean, obviously, I know everybody's gonna have their opinion about it. It's anytime you're creating a sequel to something, it's always being compared, or the expectations are always set against something. Especially with The World Ends With You is kind of a masterpiece by many's regards, and the fact that we are getting praise put up against something that was so colossally like successful in terms of its integrity and storytelling it really is telling. And it's just surprising like that everybody is new and old fans are just like, yeah, we like this, we really enjoy this, we want more. It's so pleasing to know that.
Man, I hope we get more, man. Tetsuya Nomura, come on, like, don't stop what you're doing, please.
Yeah.
Now, I want to dial back to the fact that you're a massive gamer beforehand, and which I felt really works with Rindo's character, because, you know, he does game even though it's like, it's Pokemon Go, whatever. How about you lay it on me and the chat about some of your favorite video games growing up and some of the favorite games that you're playing right now?
Gosh, how much time do we have? It's I guess I'll start with like the favorites kind of in terms of the games I sunk the most time into, but obviously all the Final Fantasies. I put a tremendous amount of hours of my life into Final Fantasy 11, which for many of you who don't know, or for those of you who don't know rather, it was like the first MMORPG that Square put out. And I played that
really big thing you had to stick into the back of your PS2.
Oh yeah, the modem. You had to put the modem into the back of the PC, the PS2.
When I first got it, I was like, "What is this thing?" Like,
yeah, is this like a pack of dynamite? Like, what the heck? Why is this thing so big?
Right.
I played that tremendously. Like, I was like the leader of an end game link show, which was basically a guild, and I sunk a lot of time into that. Prior to that, I played like obviously Diablos, Warcrafts, StarCraft. I'm trying to just think of the online games. I play a ton of Overwatch. I played that pretty competitively in my adult years. And then like RPGs pretty much were the foundation of all the games I played. Mostly Square games are going to make an appearance on this list, but you know, Final Fantasy VII, TARawson, Suikoden, which is probably my favorite series of all time. Konami-tile. If you haven't checked out Suikoden and you like JRPGs, you need to check out Suikoden. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tactics, card stories, tier kiss, and then there's Genso Suikoden 1 and 2, which are only available in Japanese, but you can download ports and play them both online. So if you haven't checked out this series, I cannot recommend it enough. It's very similar to Ni no Kuni in terms of collecting a lot of characters and customizing your party. It's turn-based time battle style type stuff. Or no, not time battle. It's turn-based. Sorry. And so that was my favorite series growing up for sure. And I have a tattoo of the freaking one of the runes in the game on my back. So that's how deep I am on that. But, you know, Legend of Dragoon, Chrono Cross, Tales of Symphonia. You know, we can go on and on and on and on.
All right. I'm going to pause right there. Please tell me you played it, and how do you feel about that? Don't... Paul, I'm asking you to not disappoint me. How did you feel about Dawn of the New World?
I played it. That was the one that was with the blonde-haired protagonist, right?
Yes.
That's of the same world.
Yes.
It was on the GameCube.
It was on the Wii. It was on the Wii.
The Wii. Yeah. So I played that and I didn't beat that one, so I can't comment. But I can't say I wasn't I can't make a comment that was like bad or good. I definitely know that it wasn't Symphonia though, so I can't. I don't know what step I'm walking you through.
Man, see. I'm sorry. It's just that I see so many people just shit on that game, and I'm like, why? It's a good game. It's just like, oh, it's not. It's not Vesperia because it came out around the same time as Vesperia, and Vesperia is obviously the superior game, but that doesn't mean Dawn of the New World was a bad game. Wait
a second. Is Dawn of the New? Is that the one where you start off like in this village and there's like a bunch of ladders in the beginning? I'm trying to like remember. It's like a dark themed. Or maybe you're in a cave. Do you start off like in a cave?
No. Well, I mean, you have to go to a cave, but like Dawn of the New World was the sequel to Symphonia. So the way the game began is where you saw Palma Costa on fire, and then Lloyd is out there killing people, and you have no idea what's going on. But
maybe I'm thinking the wrong one. But wasn't there a Tales of Symphonia 2 though, proper?
Not a proper. It was just Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World. But you were right. Like it was the blonde dude Emil that you played.
Okay, so then maybe I am right. It's been so long. Gosh, my memory. That's the thing you got to know about me is my memory is absolute dog doo doo.
So continue on the other games. We got TARawson, we got Tales, we got Suikoden, we got what other games?
Oh man, I mean, let's go. I mean, we can go down far back to the Super NES. I mean, I was playing Illusion of Gaia, Chrono Trigger, obviously on there. Super Mario RPG. I'm just obviously Zelda. Zelda was a tremendous uh, Link's Awakening or A Link to the Past rather, and Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. Those games I've synced so many hours into.
Okay.
Legend of Legaia, Grandia, like all those PlayStation RPG titles for sure. I've played pretty much all of them. Dark Cloud, but that was more of an action RPG. But yeah, anything that came out that was remotely RPG-esque, I played on PlayStation, Super Nintendo, GameCube, all that stuff. I just sat in my room all day and played video games. That's all I did.
All right, then I got 2 questions for you. One, did you play the premier N64 title, the best platformer ever to exist? Did you play Glover?
Yeah, of course I played Glover.
You know what?
Yeah, of course I played Glover. I loved it too. You know what games I'm thinking about too? You got me thinking of is like, well, first of all, there was a Donkey Kong premiere game that came out with the controller. They came out with its own pack for it, like whatever that was. But I also played. Do you remember the game like Chameleon Twist? Like those are the games I'm remembering from N64. But Glover was a banger, dude. Glover was a banger.
All right, Paul. I need you. All right. You might want to like take your headphones off for like 2 seconds. You'll know when I'm done because I need to say this. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm starting now. Vindication! I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. Like, everyone, there's so many people who don't know about Glover, and I'm like, I feel so vindicated. Lord Rindo himself has played and enjoyed Glover. Like,
oh heck yeah! I'm so surprised you brought that up. Like I was like, oh boy, I hope I know what game he's gonna bring up. I'm like, oh yeah, Glover, heck yeah! You're like this hand or whatever. You're just running around doing like gosh, I can't like a Frogger-esque stuff. Like it's a single player action or story like game, like Donkey Kong and all that stuff too. But yeah, Glover was a hit, man.
I feel so glad.
Now, have you played it on stream?
Oh, of course. I beat it to completion on stream. When I streamed Glover, people were like, "Yo, what is this game?" And then I jokingly said, "Oh, this Glover, the Master Hand Origins, right?" So people were like looking at this game, and I'm like, "Guys, you need to understand, Glover is so good." But my brother and so many people were like, "Yo, Glover's shitty," and I'm like, "No, it's not. Bro, that platformer was so ahead of its time."
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly, I mean, Master Hand Origins, maybe. Honestly, I mean, think about the timing. Like, who knows?
It could be. But the other game I want to ask about if you played it or not. Oh, actually, there's 3 now. Thinking about the generation. All right, so the second one, I'm gonna leave the quote unquote best for last. The second one is: have you played Skies of Arcadia?
Yes, I have. I haven't beaten it, but I played it.
Oh, you need to beat it. You need to beat it.
Yeah, it was. I remember that was a good fun game. There's a lot of games, like a lot of the Trails games, I haven't beaten to completion. Not because they're not good; they're amazing games. I just get either like caught up with work or something else comes out. I mean, I haven't even finished. I haven't even started Final Fantasy Intergrade because I don't even have a PS5. So there's.
Oh, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
Man, I was able to get one. Like I don't think my PS5 is even a month old in my house right now. But I was able to like grab one. And I'm like, ugh. But the thing is, now, like, ever since I beat Intergrade, no spoilers, guys. Ever since I beat Intergrade, it's become my Genshin machine. So I'm trying to get other games. By the way, do you play
Genshin Impact? Heck yeah. You know what's so funny is before, like, this is kind of embarrassing, also just really funny. Before I had booked anything, really, I was doing TikTok, and no one really knew or cared about who I was. And I was doing, like, Genshin Impact tips and tricks on my video. I played it so heavily hardcore. I was like one of the first people that I knew that was like AR-56 like months ago.
What? I'm still 55. What the heck?
Yeah, I went hard. I haven't played it definitely in the past like month and a half because I've just gotten so busy and I just can't, like, the anxiety of not spending my primo gems and my I know, I have to get into it. Bro, I mean, listen, I'm still waiting to get my phone call that I'm in the game. So,
yeah, I'm waiting on that. I was like, when I saw the Fox, the Tanuki Fox boy, I'm like, yo, Paul? And I'm like, okay, it's not Paul. Right? Not yet.
Everybody does great. Everybody is amazing, and they're all perfectly cast.
Of course.
If they want me in the game, they'll let me know. I've definitely put my my hat in the ring.
Mi hoyo, please, like right there, easy. Like yeah, you don't have to like go through screening or anything. Bypass all that. Hire this man. So the last question, because now that you talked about Genshin, we're actually going to talk about Genshin in a little bit. But the last question before that was Quest 64.
Oh yeah, the guy, he had like a tiara with a little like antenna on the front, right? Like that was yeah, I know Quest, dude, and that's like a mystical ninja, like Hypon, all that stuff. Gomon, or yeah, heck yeah. Quest was a freaking banger. Oh man, that was a banger too. Oh, I'm gonna have to like revisit these.
Dude, I feel like we're gonna get along swimmingly. Oh my lord. All these, like, bro, like every time I try to talk to people and stuff, when I'm like, oh yeah, I played games from back in the day. Did you play Gulliver? No. Did you play Quest 64? No. You play Skies Arcadia? No. Like, what were you doing? Like,
chat, what do you think? Have I proved myself? Have I proved myself that I've gotten the No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But like when people tell, like when I tell people that I was obsessed with video games and I just played them like so hardcore. I mean, the ambiguity of Quest 64 to be able to like throw that out there for you, like I'm patting myself on the back with that, because like that's where I got my street cred. N64 action RPGs and adventure games. Like that was it.
Oh, okay. I got one for you. I got one for you. Like, okay, so the chat and you're like, oh, certified gamer moment. All right, let's see. This is the last question to get your certified gamer badge.
Gosh.
By the way, this is a bit. This is a joke. Do not take this seriously, chat. I'm not like I'm not gatekeeping. But so Paul, have you played Nanosaur?
Nanosaurs. Was that like a pocket game?
No, it was on the computer.
I don't know. You might got me. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, okay. So like it's this really super obscure game from way back. I remember playing this in elementary school. And it was like this game that you played on those big Macintosh when they used to do them color coded and stuff. And it was literally a raptor with a jetpack and a gun. And I'm like,
oh wow,
it's like in the deep recesses of my mind, and I'm like, yo, this game was so stupid. But
yeah,
okay, so nah.
Have you? Well, all right, here I got one back for you. We're talking. We're going old school cereal box games like that. Have you played Putt Saves the Zoo?
Yeah.
Have you played Pajama Sam?
Of course.
Spy Fox?
Okay. What's a Spy Fox?
That they were all part of the same, like it was the same as Putt Saves the Zoo.
Because I remember Putt and Pajama Slam, but I don't remember Spy Fox.
Spy Fox. It was another one that was the same, like I guess, creator. And I honestly, I wish I could like the amount of time I sunk into those games. And honestly, they hold up today. They 100% hold up today. They 100% hold up today. They are.
What is this?
They are goated.
Yo, Spy Fox, what is this like flash animation Mucha Lucha looking game, bro?
Yeah, I'm telling you, you want to get a stream going crazy? Play one of these games.
Yo, this is on Steam. Let's get it.
Is it? It's that. Wow, that just goes to show you.
It's on Steam, bro. Like complete pack.
Oh wow, I might have to do a stream of that.
I'm about to stream this right now. Oh my lord.
These games hold up so much. It's unreal. It's actually unreal how much they hold up.
Nice. But like the chat's out here is like, have you played Math Blaster? Have you played Number Munch?
Yeah, those were the games you played in computers, and that's how they conned you into learning how to use a computer back in the day.
Oh man, yo, don't say conned, because it was one of those programs that actually taught me how to type like at like supersonic speeds and stuff. And no, it's not Mario Teaches Typing. It was like this weird
Mario
game.
Teaches Typing. Yeah, no, I'm a number cruncher and all those. I love those. I definitely. It was actually brilliant in terms of educational video games. Probably pioneered the entire like genre of it. I think that it influenced probably every educational, and I've had the pleasure of working on a lot of those things too, like doing voiceover for educational games, just like again, like in New York, you work on pretty much anything you can.
Right.
Yeah, it's I really think video games and education for kids is one of the best ways to get kids interested who maybe aren't. I was the type of kid that I hated learning. I hated school. I figured I tried to find any excuse in the world to get out of going, and I loved video games. And so what better combination to try and learn certain things or even read? You know, I learned how to read pretty much from reading game text, reading the story in video games.
Man, like I definitely synonymize with that, and like in different degrees. It was like it for me. It was this weird like typing video game that was like, oh, like Father Time teaches you typing, and he looked like a hippie out of the 70s. I'm like, okay, this is what we're going for. But thanks to that video game, I'm able to type at like competitive level.
Wow.
Don't ask what competitive level is. I can type really fast. And then, the other things that got me into like reading and I feel like video games are a good medium, even if they're not specifically educational. Bro, let me tell you this right now. Starting Yu-Gi-Oh at a young age, like me, dude, like that helps your reading comprehension so much.
Yeah.
Like reading the whole rule book, and then going off what the show says. But of course, the show, like season 1, Duel Monsters, Duelist Kingdom, is not 1-to-1 with the rules. More like Yu-Gi-Oh GX is more closer to the rules and stuff, even though they use 4,000 life points when you're supposed to use 8,000. Anyways, you know, it taught you a lot of basic and even like hints of advanced reading level of understanding of how concepts work here and there when it comes to the rulings, when it comes to what beats what, when it comes to spell speed, when it comes to like, you know, attack and defense factors, whatever. So that's for me when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh reading comprehension, because I started that when I was like a kid. And then third, I feel it's funny because there's a meme of people citing this over and over and over again before I felt the series went off the deep end, which is nothing wrong, but they wanted to adapt this, whatever. A lot of people got their massive and pretty close understanding of world history from Assassin's Creed.
Oh, for sure. I could totally see that. I mean, and probably, one of the original OG games was the, what's it called? Trail, the Oregon Trail. You remember those games?
Oh,
like, yeah, for sure. Assassin's Creed history wise. And to go back to your point, for me, it wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh! It was Magic the Gathering. That was actually probably the thing that I sunk the most collective time of my life playing. I was going to tournaments as a kid. Like I was going to IQ matches, the international qualifiers. Yeah, I played a very, very obnoxious red only red deck wins, all goblins, like super rush decks, because I didn't have the patience to sit in for a control deck game, so I just wanted it to be over in the first 4 minutes. I wanted I wanted it to be decided on hand one.
This man trying to play Magic at Yu-Gi-Oh speeds, which is respectable because I mean Magic is a pretty slow game compared to Yu-Gi-Oh. That actually reminded me of a really funny story. So that was back in your New York days, right?
For sure. Well, so I grew up, I guess to give you a little history on me, I grew up in New York till I was like 7 years old, and then my family moved to Jersey. So I was hanging out in a game store by me in central New Jersey, and doing all that stuff, you know, as a really, really young kid. Playing, you know, like they had like Perfect Dark tournaments, GoldenEye tournaments, Smash tournaments, Magic tournaments, and all this stuff. So that was all in New Jersey.
All right, so because the perspective I'm trying to draw here is that up in the northeastern part of the United States, and I kind of got this flavor when I visited my best friend when he was going to college in Massachusetts, which is in that ballpark. That up in that upper area is more of what we call Magic country than Yu-Gi-Oh country, because I feel that a lot of people primarily play Magic the Gathering there. And that certain card games actually have a little bit of, like, I would say, a turf in certain parts of the country. Because down here in, because I'm based in South Florida, down here, like Florida, Georgia, I would even say like Alabama, like Yu-Gi-Oh is actually a lot more prevalent than other card games and stuff. But then I remember going to Massachusetts and even parts of New York, and I'm looking at the card shops. I'm like, yo, where are the Yu-Gi-Oh cards at? And then they're like, and then they give me this weird look. I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? Yo, where are the Yu-Gi-Oh cards? And then I see Magic everywhere. And then that really puts into perspective, like, oh, this is Magic country. and stuff. So I like how certain card games dominate certain parts of the United States.
Totally. You know, it's so funny. When I moved to LA, the first thing I tried doing was finding a shop out here, and I walked into this one place near me, and I was like, "Hey, do you guys like do Magic the Gathering type of stuff?" And they're like, "No, only Yu-Gi-Oh." I was like, "Oh, not even like."
Yeah, California is Yu-Gi-Oh country, definitely.
Yeah, so I was very surprised, but I could totally see that, and I was going to ask you too, where you live right now. Is that where you grew up? You grew up in Florida?
It's funny enough. I actually I grew up in Florida, but I was actually born in LA.
Okay.
And I spent the first I was there up until I was 4, and then my dad decided to move my family to Miami, which a lot of my mom's side has family down here, but no one from my dad's side has family here. So I always kept wondering, like, you know, why move us here? So then he really put into perspective to me. Like, he told me the story when I was 13 years old. He was like, "Mijo, you need to understand. I would prefer a hurricane over an earthquake any day." And I'm like, that makes so much sense, because, you know, here in Florida we get hurricanes, yeah, but we can see them coming. We can prepare for that. In LA or in California, when an earthquake happens, you can't really prepare for that, and you can't really see them coming. So I'm like, yikes. And then the funniest thing is that he was telling me when I was young, when I was like 3 or 4, he actually took me down here to South Florida scouting for houses. And then while my mom and my younger brother, who was literally only 1 year old, in LA, they were caught in an earthquake while my dad was away. And then that was the last straw. He's like, "No, we're definitely moving to Miami now." And then that's the story. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but that totally makes sense. I mean, I've only experienced kind of like smaller earthquakes, but I've definitely felt them. But again, there's no real preparation. You're just kind of on for the ride.
Oh, what a ride it's been. I've never ever experienced an earthquake before, and I'm like, yo, those sound scary. Like, you know, just having a force of nature like in your face like that, not being able to do anything about it. Like, you're hurt in Florida here. My house has hurricane-proof windows. I'm pretty much good. When things are happening, it's happening. But it's funny because growing up here, people like really gas up how dangerous tropical depression, tropical storm, or hurricane category 1s are here, or like in any other perspective. But I'm telling you right now, growing up in Florida, experiencing a lot of those type of storms, and unless it goes beyond that of a 1, it really is no big deal. Now, category 2 and above, that's when that's when it gets spicy. So you got to be careful for that.
Totally. No, it totally makes sense. And I want to ask you too. So what was like gaming for you? How did your love and passion, maybe you've told this a bunch of times before, but like, where did your love and passion for gaming start as a kid? Was there a specific game, or?
Actually, no one's ever asked me that before. I'm glad you asked me that. Like, everyone sees me play certain games, they're like, "Oh man, yeah, that's your game." And I'm like, I sometimes I tell the story about how I got into Kingdom Hearts and stuff, because, you know, Kingdom Hearts came out relatively when I was already, you know, cognitive, I would say, at that point in time. When Kingdom Hearts came out, I was 12. But when I started gaming, I would have to I would have to thank my cousin for that, because he's the one who really got me into it, because he introduced me to the Super Nintendo and a little game called A Link to the Past. And as soon as I got that out, I was hooked. But at the time, you know, my parents refused to get me a console, so I would have to go over his house, play Link to the Past, and then I would play the first Legend of Zelda, because he had the NES and the SNES. And then Duck Hunt actually really got me. I played Duck Hunt before, but that was like in the earliest recesses of my mind. And then when it came to around the time when I was getting older, and then I'm like, oh, I need a console, that's when the N64 started coming out. And when it came out, I was floored. I got the N64, but my dad, who also plays video games with me. My mom really didn't play video games with me that much, and she was always like, she always looked at me like, "Mijo, listen, don't get too invested in video games, because, like, you know, you have to graduate college, you have to get a job. Video games are not gonna pay the bills." And now I'm like, look at me now, Mom, what's up?
I did it!
What's up? I did it. Video games are paying my bills. So anyways, my dad was pretty much a pretty big semi-gamer and whatnot. When he got me the N64, he did the dad mistake in which I wanted Super Mario 64. He's like, okay, my son wants Mario, and it has to have 64 on the box. He got the N64, and he got Mario Kart 64. And then I'm looking at him like, Dad, this is not the game, right? And then he's like, what you mean, Mijo? Like, Mario's on the cover. It says 64. It's the game. I'm like, no, Dad.
The Italian guy, he's right there.
I'm no, Dad. This is Mario Kart 64. I want Super Mario 64. And he's like, what's the difference? And I'm like, so I showed him the difference. He's like, oh, okay. Funny enough, he said he was gonna return that, but he never did because he started playing it himself. And then I'm like, okay, cool. But he still went out and got me Super Mario 64, so we started with 2 games. And then Mario Kart 64 is what started his huge love for video games. And he played Mario Kart 64, and he went to Mario Kart Double Dash. And I'm telling you right now, like, this man was a beast. And I'm
wow.
Bro, it's funny because he became a beast in 2 specific games. Mario Kart 64 and Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube.
Oh, wow.
And one time I had a party where all my friends were like, we were all like little jits. We were like, 13, 12 years old, whatever. Not even 14, push 14. Yo, time is a construct. Yeah. Anyways, we were playing, and then my dad walks over. He's like, "Oh, you guys playing Soul Calibur 2, right?" And then my kid's like, "Yeah, old man." Like, well, they didn't really say. I'm paraphrasing. It's like, "Yeah, old man, we're playing this game." And he's like, "Oh, can I play with you?" It's like, "Oh, you play with us?" My friends were saying that. Me and my dad were giving each other that look. It's like, "Oh, they don't know." All right, got it. So then I give him my controller. He sits down and straight up bodies everyone at the party, right? And my dad's like really competitive. So every time you buy something, he's like, yeah! Yeah! Like the same, like he watches a lot of soccer. So every time Mexico, like, because he's Mexican, every time Mexico scores a goal, he's like, yeah! Like really puffs up his chest. He would do the same thing for Soul Calibur. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. So I guess that's my story.
Well, I mean, that's so freaking cool that your dad was such a huge gamer. My dad started off like playing the games with me and loving games. The first game that I think I really played that I can remember, I don't know if it was the first game I played, but I definitely remember playing it with my dad, was Doom on the PC.
Ooh.
That was the first game I really sat down and remember playing with my dad. And then my mom used to play Super Mario RPG with me all the time. And she used to obviously play Donkey Kong Country with me. But I have a very specific memory of playing Super Mario RPG with my mom, because if you remember, I don't know if you've played the game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's a moment where you're in in Mallow, right? That's his name,
yeah.
the cloud guy. His like grandpa or whatever is the frog, and you're at the tadpole area, and you have to do the song stuff, and you got to like hit buttons in a certain order. And I couldn't like my whatever, however old I was, 7, 6, 5, or however old I was. I couldn't like make sense of it, so I had to make my mom do this for me because I just couldn't make sense of the musical notes. Right. And she's like, I'm trying so hard, and she would help me do all those things. You had to like push button, and also the Yoshi racing too, where you had to like push like A B A B A B, and you had to start slow and get faster. Like I remember those very, very vividly.
Dang, like it's funny. That story actually reminded me, because I thought I was gonna lead to the story, but then I went off the rails with the Mario Kart story. That story actually reminds me of a story when I first got Super Mario 64, in which when I went to the top of the hill in Bob-omb Battlefield, and I had to defeat King Bob-omb, I could not figure out how to do it, because the way my mind was working equations when I was there 6 years old was like, okay, we're on the top of a hill. I have to throw the bomb off the hill. And my reading comprehension skills weren't that great. So whenever I did that, and he would tell you, he's like, oh, what are you doing? You don't throw the king off the hill. I was just like, skip it. And I kept doing it, and nothing happened. So then I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, Bobby, like this isn't working. The game's not letting me beat the guy. And then he's like, what do you mean? So I told him what I did. And then this man literally like busts out like his glasses, because when he needs to read something, like he's like wait, what would you call that? Close, near side, far side?
Yeah.
he's farsighted. So when he had to read the book, he had to put on his glasses there, and he got the instruction manual out, and he's like looking through it, and he's like, he doesn't see anything. Then he calls on my cousin, the one who got me into gaming, and he's like, oh yeah, Wally. And he would like explain the situation, and then my cousin will tell my dad how to beat the boss, and then my dad will get the controller and beat the boss in front of me. He's like, okay, that's how you do it. I'm like, word, what? Yo, my mind was blown as a kid. I was like, bro, what? How'd you know how to do that?
That's crazy. I mean, this is back. We're going back to the days where actually the player's guides were like, you needed this thing or you didn't know how to play the game too.
Right.
You know, you remember like getting games, and if you didn't have the player's guide, it was like they tried to sell you on both of those.
Oh,
I remember going to the store every time. You had to get the player's guide. If you didn't have the player's guide, you didn't know how to do anything. So if you knew somebody who knew how to beat certain, get past a board like in your town, or you didn't have the player's guide, like they were the shit. I remember like me and my friends would all play the games at the same times, like specifically RPGs, and we'd be like, wait, how'd you get past this part in Final Fantasy VII? Like, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? And they're like, all right, let me sit down. I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to get you past this part right now. And then everybody would come over and watch. Oh, gosh, the good old days, huh?
Those were the good old days, man. And it's funny because the only strategy guide I ever bought was the Ocarina of Time strategy guide 2 years after I got the game because I just wanted to collect it. I actually never read it. Like, it's cool. I got pictures. It's nice. It's, you know, collecting my stuff. And then, funny how you bring up that story. There was a time where my friends thought I was capping when I was. Have you ever played Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door?
100%, yeah.
Oh, of course. So they thought I was capping that I was able to do 2 puzzles in the game on my first try, and then he's like, no way. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's easy. Like they kind of tell you, and they're like, nah, that's cap. The 2 puzzles were the duplex puzzle, in where you had to look for the P in order to, you know, out duplex as the guy who was taking over Mario's body, and the puzzle in which you had to figure out how to bring out the ghost in the train in order to like talk to him, and then he's like, oh yeah, go get my diary and don't read it or else I'll kill you. I did both those on my first try, and then they're like, no, there's no way. Those are impossible. They give you no hints. I'm like, it's not about hints. It's just like, you know, how point A to point B is structured. It kind of like leads you to believe there might be something here or something there. I don't know. It was just.
I know, totally. That makes me think, like, what is the hardest game you've ever played?
Oh man. Okay, I gotta think about this. Hold up.
Like the most, I guess, yeah, challenging that you felt like was like, dang, this is freaking tough.
Now, okay, to shred your question into a way I can answer it better. The hardest game, like a game like there was a boss that was hard to beat, or a puzzle that was like kind of hard to solve.
I don't know, maybe either or. I remember like I remember like Dark Cloud had some freaking hard puzzles and stuff. So I guess it's 2 separate things. Yeah, like as a whole, whatever sticks out to you, I guess. I mean, it's a hard question, I know. So I apologize for asking it.
No, I like these kind of questions. I would say in the most recent memory, without giving spoilers, for those in the chat, 2 of the most recent hardest bosses that I can think of right now is the final boss of the DLC of Kid Master Mine, haha, and fucking Sans Undertale. That boss is like impossible, bro. My lord, I don't know what Toby Fox was thinking putting that boss together. Now, when it comes to an overall game that was difficult, that I'm trying to think. I remember there was a game that I felt like I was really proud for beating. That was like, I was super proud for beating. That was like, it was really difficult.
It's funny that you bring up Kingdom Hearts 3. I was playing it on like the hardest difficulty with like, I had all the pro codes on at one point, and then I was getting to a point where I'm like, I'm trying to stream this and beat it in like a timely fashion. I'm like, I had to take some of those pro codes off. I was like, I just couldn't do it. Some of those bosses, you just get hit once and it's over. You have to just, you know, perfect it to T. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that in one sitting.
Yeah, man, you gotta be patient and know when to block, know when to strike, and you have to know when the openings are. It's like, man, it's really intense.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm still on this question. Because I
Huh,
know there were
yeah.
games back in the day, especially in the N64 era, that was like just straight up like bonkers.
Well, a game that gets like it's notorious for how hard it was that Lion King game on Super Nintendo or
Man,
Genesis. Yeah.
bro, but that was it was hard because it was a busted game. Like that doesn't
Yeah.
count. I need a good, clean, concise game that was just hard to be hard.
Huh, yeah, right. Well, maybe that's a problem. Maybe there isn't a lot of games that are providing like insane difficulty. I mean, maybe there's something to be said. That's why I really do enjoy games that give you all these different options so you can play it and anybody can enjoy a game. I think that's so cool about studios. They're creating that option. You can kind of customize your difficulty experience because you don't want to deter people from like being interested in a game, and you also don't want to like make it too easy for somebody. So I think it's
Right.
really, really awesome that they're doing that.
I mean, I definitely understand that as long as they still contain the I would say essence of a game. You know, being hard. You know, it's good to not gatekeep prospective gamers that want to be able to enjoy the game, but don't want to sweat their hands off. But as long as they have the option for people like me, who's like, oh, I love a good hard experience. And
Yeah,
as long as they contain that, I'm all good.
that's what I'm
Uh,
saying. Yeah, that's why I really did enjoy Kingdom Hearts 3 because I was able to make it so dang hard. It was
right,
fun. Like I find that like fun, and that's what I think MMOs really interest me because there's a lot of boss mechanics you can't screw up. It takes coordination and teamwork. Like that stuff definitely interests me. Yeah, I really love a good challenge.
I love challenges. That's why I'm like, this question is challenging me to like. Hmm,
The Water Temple in Zelda, the as
nah,
in Ocarina of Time,
let, let,
stands out.
let me tell you this, all right? I've played Ocarina of Time so many times. I could do that dungeon blindfolded, bro. And that
Wow.
it's I honestly, the perspective is I really don't think that dungeon was ever that hard. It's just that I feel that I had a lot of people had a lot of problem with the fact that it dealt with the water mechanics in order to raise the water level. It's like one of the first 3D games that dealt with, significant flooring in order to know when to go to floor 1, floor 3, floor 2, when to flood, floor 1, 2, or 3, or whatnot.
Yeah.
And in the 3DS remake, they solved that completely by giving you, I would say, like, not arrows, but I mean indicators on which floor to go to, what floor is this, what floor is that. And, it basically kind of guided you in a sense. And I'm like, bro, it never needed this. Okay, there we go, Paul. I got it.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, bro, I'm talking about Ocarina of Time, and I'm like, my dumbass, bro, Ocarina of Time Master Quest.
Master Quest was the came out you could play. It had both games on it or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember. Yeah, I loved Master Quest.
Yes, so Master Quest, that's the game that was heavily difficult, and I felt proud beating that game. Let me tell you, Nintendo, you got some Nintendo, like, the Zelda team needs to, like, they need to be stopped, because how are you gonna have a game that literally gives use and meaning to Faor's Wind? Like, Din's Fire was kind of, like, yeah, Din's Fire was kind of necessary, especially if you want to open up the Shadow Temple, but people were like, oh, you can just use what do you call them, Deku sticks and fire, like Deku sticks as a kid, or just keep using fire arrows and have a magic pot. But I mean, like, no, it was meant to be Din's Fire. And fun fact about that, the fact that the emblem for the fire medallion was on the floor meant that Din's Fire's ability was actually mapped to a usable version of the fire medallion, which they actually confirmed. And I've theorized this for years, and they actually confirmed this last year when they finally data mined, dumped the entire game, that there were beta versions of the medallions that Pharaoh's Wind, Din's Fire, and Nehru's Love were originally mapped to. Specifically, the Force Medallion, the Fire Medallion, and the Water Medallion. Which, when you look at the designs of those medallions, the Force Medallion was originally the Wind Medallion, and the water medallion was originally the ice medallion. That's why Nehru's Love is an ice shield, and that's why Pharaoh's Wind was, you know, the wind from the wind medallion, and Din's Fire was the fire from the fire medallion, and Nintendo forgot to scrub that out from the platform in the Shadow Temple, or I should say to the door of the Shadow Temple, in which it tells you, hey, listen, this is where you use the fire medallion. You cannot go into this dungeon until you beat the Fire Temple first, and that is my spiel. But yeah, how do you give use to Pharaoh's Wind in the Water Temple? See, the Water Temple in Master Quest, now that's bullshit. Now, like, I'm sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
No, I mean, gosh, that makes so much sense, and it's fascinating. You kind of wonder, like, what happened behind the scenes to make all this madness kind of happen, you know?
Definitely, man. I'm a sucker for that when I see, like, beta items or beta trailers, when it's like, oh, what this was originally intended to be, what could have been, and what we got.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the original Twilight Princess trailer? Like the one before it got the name of Twilight Princess?
I probably did. I don't remember. It doesn't resonate with me too much because I don't. If there was controversy, it probably stuck out more if I would have looked into it. But I don't remember. Was there like something different about it?
It wasn't really controversy. It's just that the game looked like, okay, the game looked the same as Twilight Princess, but like a lot of the overworld, like a lot of stuff that you saw in that trailer did not make it to the final product. So then you're like, damn, what did you do with all this? So I'm like, where's the stuff? I mean, Twilight Princess had a lot of content in it, but all that content that was in the original first two trailers that got like wiped from existence, I'm like, why and what did you do with it? Like,
yeah.
So
I always wonder about that, you know. I mean, and also the amount of games that are there. I've seen a lot of now. There's been people like doing like tester, like they get either certain copies of games. They've been releasing these games that have were like they weren't released publicly. I've been noticing a lot of those games coming to the surface now that you hear about, and then they just never get finished. I remember, like, notoriously there was a StarCraft like RPG or something that was coming out that never made its way, and only a few people had copies of them. It's just really fascinating, you know, and it's because people don't realize how hard it is to get a game made. It is incredibly hard, and that's why. Trust me, I'm one of the biggest critics in the world, but I have tremendous admiration for any company, specifically indie companies that make like a successful game. The hurdles you have to come over to make that possibility is insane.
Oh, definitely, man. Because certain it really breaks my heart seeing certain games not see the light of day, as you brought up the StarCraft RPG, but there's another game that really hurt that got canceled, and I'm like, no. So I'm gonna say the game, but when I say the game, I'm actually gonna go grab another drink, and we're gonna continue the show. But I'm gonna let you talk to the chat after I say the game. I don't know if it resonated at all with you, but it did with me. Mega Man Legends 3.
Oh gosh, yeah, go for your drink, dude. Don't you know? Gotta stay hydrated, everybody.
That hurt.
Yeah. Mega Man Legends was such a great game and series, my gosh. But yeah, let me pull this up here so I can see all of you guys here. Hello, and thank you all for coming to hang out. I see some of my familiar faces here: Umbra, Hylia, Ulaverds, Kusurikan. Hello, everybody, and everybody here, part of HMK's stream. I really appreciate all your love and stuff. And gosh, isn't he knowledgeable about this stuff? That Zelda thing. I mean, gosh, I my mind is kind of blown. So, but yeah, I was a huge Mega Man fan. As a kid.
I'm back. So yeah, that I'm so sad about that. I just wish that Capcom would just come out and be like, JK, it's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, right. I mean, I wonder, there's obviously red tape that they can't do anything about, or for probably reasons we will never know, but there's always that what ifs, like, man, wouldn't it be so cool if such and such came out? Or, I mean, who knows? You never know. Crazy things have happened, like a series coming back after 14 years.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, that was so smooth. I'm like, bro, like butter. I love it. Oh man. Now dialing back to Neo the World Ends With You, which obviously this is a spoiler free stream. You know, trying to keep it like, obviously Okay, at least to the character of Rindo, you know, like everything because you voiced the character. So yeah.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite part about voicing this character or bringing him to life in The Other World Ends with You?
I mean, there was so much. I really, really did love every kind of moment in the game. There's specific scenes. I mean, there's definitely one early on in the game in the demo that if you've gotten past the demo area, which is like the first day, I believe, one of the first early scenes with Rindo and Fret was definitely one of my favorite moments to do. But I also like just specifically the battle efforts and the cries. I was like, I get to be like Sora right now, you know? It was like doing I want to do fire, water, you know, like I wanted to do that type of stuff. Like I really felt like I was the living a childhood fantasy as a kid. And the story was just so wonderfully written, Neo. I was experiencing, like, it's a very fascinating experience because when you're a gamer who knows the series, who is a fan of the game, and you know you're never going to have that kind of fresh eyes, unique experience playing it, you got to kind of play it while you're recording it.
Right.
So to have that kind of three-dimensional experience of the game was surreal and so emotional. Like, normally I feel like I get to resonate with I mean, you all will play the game to a degree, but I feel like the experience that I had recording it, I can only share obviously with my fellow actors. So it's a lot more specific. You know, the game that I know is different than the game that is made, so I'll have a different experience playing the game. And for everybody who's wondering, I'm streaming the game, and I'm only on like day 6 or 7. I'm terribly behind because I've just work and life.
Yep. Is Katie here in the chat? Can we get a shout out to Paul Castro's channel, please? Thank you. If you guys don't know, this man streams. Like, go watch the streams. It's great.
Yeah, I just started streaming, so
can I say I really like your setup?
Thank you. Yeah, gosh, making this studio was a labor of love. My gosh, I really am happy with what I was able to do and the way it came out. And you know, most voice actors, they have what is known as a booth, a sound booth, or a studio bricks, or a whisper room, or kind of the names that most voice actors will be familiar with. But I wanted to make sure that my room was kind of a large area, open both for gaming and for voiceover, and it had to be bright. I didn't want it to be like that stereotypical red and black kind of like dark theme, which was great. But I knew for me that if I'm sitting in the room all day without a window,
I feel attacked. I feel so attacked, bro. No, I'm about to like lower the green screen for like 2 seconds. I feel so attacked, bro. How are you gonna do me like that, Paul? Like literally every other, I painted the studio room myself, and every other it's red black walls. You gonna do me dirty like that?
No, never.
You gonna put my how you gonna do me like that, son? Like what? I didn't invite you here to roast me.
Let me defend myself here. Your room is able to be customized to your liking. When you're doing voiceover, you can't have certain things in the room because of sound noise and reflections, and so for instance, if you're recording and you have your cup of tea or your water bottle near your microphone, your sound is bouncing and reverberating, all that stuff. So when I say the stereotypical red and black, it's like that's all there is. It's just black foam. And really, it's not that much red. I've only seen, maybe I'm thinking red because that's what was offered to me at the time. But I was like, yeah, I can't sit in darkness all day. I'm not the type of person. I need like sunlight, and not having a window like ruins me emotionally. So even like when I'm playing video games or streaming, I have to like go walk outside for a second and just breathe air.
Nah, man, I can't deal with natural sunlight, man. No. Like,
artificial only.
Yes, artificial only. Like, cause I can make it to what I want, and also like the sunlight here in South Florida is really, really testy. It's just like, yo, 1 second it's gonna be really, really sunny, really, really bright. The other second it's gonna be raining, and I'm like, yo, I cannot rely on you for anything. So I'm gonna rely on my switch that turns on the lights here.
Hey, we've all got different strokes for different folks, man. You know, and I know Miami has got dreadful humidity, right? So it's
oh man, you should visit. You should find out for yourself. Like, bro, I'm telling you right now. Like, I told this to a bunch of my friends, and all of them are starting to say the same thing. It's like living in a bowl of soup. It's
I've been to Miami before. I actually, funny enough, I did there was gosh, what was it called? I did like, you ever see like one of those things called like What Would You Do, or where you're, it's basically like NBC or whatever, and it's like reenactment actors they have, and they do like these fake scenarios, and then they're like, they try to get real people's reactions. I filmed one of those in Miami.
okay.
So I got to like hang out in the city and stuff, and Miami is really, really cool. I actually like, I do enjoy Miami. I don't know how you feel about it, but
It's a great place to visit, horrible place to live.
yeah, and I say the same thing. I mean, after living 10 years in New York, it's kind of a similar sentiment.
Yeah, and it's incredibly expensive to live here.
Yeah, that probably hurts as well.
Mm-hmm. Man, hurts in more places than one. But yeah, so considering your streaming, your setup, and Neo, the world ends with you, and everything in that spiel, what games are you currently streaming right now? I don't know if you're just focusing on Neo, the world ends with you, but what other games are you streaming currently?
Well, right now it is Neo. That's obviously what I'm finishing, and I am gonna go back and finish Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm gonna go back and finish the original World Ends With You once I'm finished with Neo, and I plan on playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14. Actually, I think I'm gonna start streaming because I played it hardcore. I did used to.
I'm sorry,
Did
that's
you play?
the booby. No, not yet, because I know as soon as I touch it, it's gonna be over for me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the forbidden fruit, man. Like,
well, I'm going to definitely give the good old fashioned gamer try to it, and I played it till end game many months ago, and I played when it was 1.0, and I really did enjoy it. So it seems like a natural progression to go back, seeing as it's getting a lot of popularity right now, and it seems like the content is catching up to the standards of most MMO gamers. But I also am really interested in New World. I'm interested in playing the new Diablo 2 Resurrected. I obviously any JRPGs that come out, I'm gonna be super interested in. So and definitely Final Fantasy 7 Intergrade. I'm gonna stream once I get my hands on a PS5. So yeah, and I definitely will be going back and visiting old titles that I like. So if you're interested in the Suikoden's, I'm going to be going back and doing that again. I played 1 and 2 already. I picked up 5 because that's a prequel to the first game. So
nice.
I'm definitely what you would probably consider a variety streamer. I've streamed Overwatch. I've streamed Pokemon Unite, Call of Duty. I'm all over the place.
All right, so I'm gonna need you to sync up with me in Pokemon Unite, but
oh heck yeah.
Here's a little request from me, your boy. Since I mean, like, this will be right up your alley because I mean, like, it's not an RPG, but it's definitely an action game. So I'm gonna need you to play the critically acclaimed bloody series known as No More Heroes.
I've never heard of it. Fill me in.
What? Wait. No. You.
Oh. Is this brand new, or is this old, or I need the spiel?
All right, Paul. No More Heroes 1 and No More Heroes 2 came out for the Wii way back in the day, 2007 and 2009 or 2010. Okay. I forgot where it was like released. Anyways, No More Heroes 3, just like The What Ends With You, is finally coming out. How long has it been, you guys? Like since 2010. 11 years after No More Heroes 2, No More Heroes 3 is coming out. Right?
Wow.
And it's coming out for the Switch, and it's coming out at the end of the month. You can get all the No More Heroes games right now on the Switch. They're all available on the Switch. No More Heroes 1, 2, Travis Strikes Again, you don't have to get that. And No More Heroes 3 is coming out at the end of the month.
What kind of game is it?
It's an action. I'm not gonna say action adventure. It's a hack and slash action game.
Okay, so if you had to compare it to another game,
that's a bit hard because I mean, like, you can say things. I can say things like Devil May Cry, but No More Heroes doesn't have a jump function. It like the combat is actually not that far off from like grounded Kingdom Hearts combat. And if you like Final Fantasy VII Remake, then you're really gonna like the combat of No More Heroes. It's a lot more visceral, and it's like the combat's actually really nice, and what's in the game is actually super cool because you play as Travis Touchdown, He's an otaku.
Okay.
He's a weeb. He loves gaming, wrestling, anime, everything. But the thing is, he's also extremely vile. So like literally the funniest thing about the game, it's rated M by the way, is that you have to use the bathroom in order to save, right?
What? That's funny.
And the funniest thing, the craziest thing that I feel like it could be really, really up your alley is that the voice actor, Luke Sword, Robin Atkins Down, he's the one who he's the main character, Travis Touchdown, right? And there's a lot of great voicing in the game, and it's like, bro, the game was like ahead of its time back, like when it first came out, and then it went on this really big hiatus, and then people were like, oh, bring it back, and then Suda51, the guy who directs the game, finally brought it back. And I really wanted Travis for Smash, but they made him a Mii costume instead, so it really hurts. But I mean, I guess, a better way to compare it, because I was gonna say Bayonetta, but Bayonetta has a jump feature. Like, you don't jump in normal Heroes, so the action combat is very grounded, but it's still really, really, really nice. I guess the best way to compare is, have you ever played any of the guys? Not like, before you guys get like, oh, it's not as hard as, no, I'm talking about like how the combat flows or anything like that. Have you ever played like any of the Soulsborne game, like Dark Souls or Bloodborne or anything like that?
Sure, yeah, for sure.
All right, so think of it like that. Definitely not as hard, a little bit more crazier, but it's like in that kind of like groundedness.
Huh.
So
I feel like I've been living under a rock. I haven't come in contact with this series. That's so crazy. Is this like one of your favorite series?
Bro, I'm telling you, man, I've been waiting for No More Heroes 3 for years. People are like,
Wow.
oh yeah, I've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 for years. I'm like, okay, I understand that, we all have, but the thing is, we've had games between 2 and 3. We've had, 358 Days, we had Recoded, we had GM Job Distance, we had Burst by Sleep, we had 0.2, Union Across the Phonies, we had all that. For No More Heroes, I had nothing. There was nothing. And then we got Travis Strikes Again, which was, it's like this weird spin-off game that takes place between 2 and 3 that literally does not have the same combat at all as No More Heroes 1 and 2, so it was kind of like iffy. I liked it, but I mean, it's definitely not like No More Heroes 1 and 2. But these games are amazing, and the funniest thing, like, think of it like this. Suda51 is the video game version of Quentin Tarantino. There we go.
Wow.
So to put that into perspective, that's what you're in for when you play the No More Heroes series.
Can I jump into this newest one without playing the other ones, or do you have to? What is it like? Do they build off each other? Are there prequels? Like, how does it?
The game, like, it's a sequential story, and there is a story, but the game prides itself in not taking itself too seriously. And it's funny, in the promotional aspects for No More Heroes 3, they keep on saying like, you don't have to play No More Heroes 1 and 2. It'll be better if you did, but you really don't have to. So, like, that was a gag when No More Heroes 2 came out, where it takes place 3 years afterwards, and in the beginning of the game, the main character is like, oh, wait, so you're not gonna tell us what happened? Like, we want to know what happened between the 3 years of the first game and this game, right? And he looks at the screen, looks at you, is like, right, we want to know? And then the other character is like, oh, no one cares about the story about this game. They just want to play the game, so let's get to the game. And then she looks at you and gives you a wink, and I'm like, really? That's how we're gonna do this? Whatever.
That's kind of, it's meta in that sense.
Or it's extremely meta.
It
breaks the fourth wall all the time. Like, it really does not care. There's a story. There's a concise story, and it's not confusing, but it really doesn't care if it decides to like go off the rails a little bit.
Oh, fun! I look forward to checking that out. I haven't. Yeah, I feel so ashamed.
Don't. And the music is amazing. And the music is gonna get even more amazing in, oh man, you know what?
Oh great, I love a good soundtrack.
No, I'm just gonna, like, for your future use, I'm just gonna message you right now the
please the link, if you've got it on Steam or whatever, or Switch.
No, it's only gonna be for a Switch, but I'm sending you the boss theme of the game. So this theme plays every time you come into a contact with a boss. I'm just gonna drop that link for you, and you listen to that on your own accord. But that, bro, like, It's this
It's one of those, yeah, huh? It's one of those ones that just gets you. You start bopping to it in the car, then too.
definitely,
It
man.
travels out. It travels outside of the gaming room, huh?
Yo, I play this song when I go to the gym. I play this song when I'm on stream, and it's to my understanding, it's not even it's not DMCA-able because it's gonna be in a video game. But the thing is, the band that made it's an actual real band, so I don't really like to get hanky panky with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Red
That's
Orca Force.
fun fact about me in terms of the streaming or the recording process for Neo. I listened to all right before every session. I would listen to all of the World Ends With You soundtracks, the Kingdom Hearts soundtracks, Final Fantasy soundtracks. Like that was basically like my warm up, you know, like my pregame music was all
Right,
those soundtracks.
you're hyping yourself up. Funny enough, like I love the World Ends With You music, and my favorite song so far is I feel like it's not confirmed, but I say it's Rindo's theme song, Break Free. That's like
I love that song.
that's my
love
favorite song. So I mean, if you like the music from Neil the Ones for You, I feel like you're like, dude, the No More Heroes music is right up your alley.
Oh, perfect.
Man. Oh god. It's just so good. But
yeah, I'm gonna definitely check it out. I mean, I have a wonderful queue of games that I need to get back to playing, and once I finish Neo, I'm gonna have like so much free time. I mean, not free time. I mean, I'm gonna have the freedom to play other games that I want to play.
Nice. Now, unfortunately, I have to get to the closing segment of this stream. But like we discussed earlier, before we went live on the call, I have this like fun thing since we were talking about like we were supposed to talk about Genshin a little bit, but we never got to. Can you do me the honor and the chat the honor if you could put into perspective in Rindo's character who his favorite unit in Genshin Impact would be?
Ooh, who would Rindo's favorite unit be? Like, what would his 14? What would his 4 characters be?
Yeah.
All right, I got to think differently than me here. Let me get. I mean, not that me and Rindo are so vastly different, but I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say Rindo would use Xiao. He would use like his main DPSer. I'm gonna say he would use I'm gonna say oh, actually, all right, start over. I'm gonna compare myself to me. He would use Child because he's got to have his homeboy Griffin Burns.
Yeah, I was saying that, Fret. Yeah.
he's got to have, you know, Fret as his main guy, and that's who I used. Child was actually my main guy. I had a C3 Child, and I had everything. I had like a rush.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I
You
went
have
hard
a
on
C3?
Child Banner. Yeah, I went pretty hard on it. I have a C2 Venti, C3.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna have to. No. You're Paul. I'm gonna have to stop the call right now because you are not giving this chat wholesome values. A C2 Venti and a C3 Child. Are you kidding me?
And I had a C1 Nikljj.
I'm out of here, bro.
Who else did I have? I had a C2. Well, obviously Max, Fischl, Bennett. My main team was Fischl, Bennett, Nikljj, and Child. That was like my main team. And then I had a second team, which was Chi-Chi, C2 Chi-Chi. Gosh, why am I forgetting now? Chi-Chi, Venti, Fischl, and D-Luke, or gosh, I can't remember now at this point. But yeah, I have a couple of hitters in my squad.
I'm gonna need to play Genshin with you like ASAP. Like
yeah, but actually maybe here we go. Maybe Rindo would you? I mean, here's the thing. I think Rindo is like a completionist. I think he would play games to completion. He would definitely like look at the metas and the tiers. So maybe he would definitely like throw in a Sucrose, or you know, to get like those big damage numbers on like bosses and stuff. What's his name? water sword guy. What's his name again? Xing Chao or whatever.
Xing
Yeah,
Chao,
yeah. Maybe he'd run him. I want to say, like, I mean, I have to say maybe he'd run the protagonist. He'd run
He would.
What's his name again? Protagonist.
Ether.
Ether,
yeah, the boy's Ether, and the girl is Lumine.
Yeah. So maybe he would run the protagonist to be meta.
Yep.
Like, not meta in the sense of like what's best, meta as in like
For the
he's a
story
protagonist.
and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just you wait. You know, you guys are not thinking, but I'm telling you, if the final character in Smash Bros is a Genshin character, it either could be Ether, Lumine, or Zhongli. I really do feel like Zhongli is gonna be the one.
How's your feeling about the Sora for Smash? Is that just a boat you like? All right, that's gone.
No. A lot of people like to get it twisted. That like, because when Sephiroth got revealed, I was like saying in the heat of the moment, obviously, that I don't need Sora anymore. That doesn't mean the dream has dropped for me. I still believe in Sora for Smash. I still believe, like, for him to be the last character, he has a really, really big chance considering like the gravity of his character, the gravity of the last ever character for DLC in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The whole idea of his character being that within a game that brings various worlds together, and Smash being a game that brings various worlds together, and the fact that, you know, Smash is goofy, Sora is goofy. I mean, like, it's a match made in heaven. I feel like when people say that, oh, Sora doesn't belong in Smash, or Sora, you know, when people say I don't think Sora could be in Smash, that's fine. When people say Sora can't be in Smash, that's wrong. When people say Sora doesn't fit in Smash, I'm like, how do you? I don't understand.
That's all that stuff. I just try not to get involved with all that, because it's just like, I mean, listen, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At the end of the day, Disney and Square and all of them, they have whatever. They're not sitting around saying, should we or shouldn't we? It's like, if we're doing it, they're probably like, we're gonna do it. Or if, you know, like, they've got this road mapped out, I'm sure.
Right. Oh,
they're very, very smart. So it's nothing I can do to change that opinion. But I love Sora. That would be pretty cool. Obviously Neku would be really, really cool too.
I've seen a lot of people say Neku, and then a lot of people say,
yeah.
Paul, what about what about, in order to promote the recently revealed game of Neo the World Ends With You, they put Rindo in Smash?
I'll tell you what, guys, if that does happen, then well, I mean, first of all, if that happens and they decide to use the English voice cast, you're gonna have to like check up on me. So you won't hear from me for a while, because I might have fainted and never woke up.
He's just saying that, guys. Keep your eye on him.
Yeah, it would be so awesome. I think I don't know. I think maybe Zidane would be pretty cool, huh? Wouldn't Zidane be cool? Vivi be pretty cool.
Nah, I think that Cloud and Sephiroth, when it comes to Final Fantasy characters, I think that was a pretty rounded. If we're gonna get another Final Fantasy character in Smash, I don't know. Like, see, that's very dicey, because a lot of people are like, oh, this one, that one, this one. People are saying Squall. People are saying Terra. People are saying, Final Fantasy Terra. And then people are saying things like, you know, Vivi and Zidane, and my fiance loves Zidane and stuff. But honestly, if we were to get another Final Fantasy character, I honestly think it's gonna be one or two people. It's either gonna be one of three people, actually. It's gonna be Lightning, Noctis, or Clive. And
yeah, sure. Yeah, Noctis or Lightning, that would make sense. Yeah. I mean, listen, I love Vivi. I think he's one of my favorite characters in the series. I love playing mage classes and stuff when I can, so it's fun. I have a soft place in my heart.
Definitely.
And I think those are fun. I think those are always fun characters when they put them in, like, I really love the toolkits or the kits of like Ness and Lucas. I really loved like how there's like a combination of like
Paul,
magic and
I thought we were gonna be friends.
Why? I will listen. I love
hate-
anybody who plays. I listen. You can play anything you want in
I
Smash.
hate PK characters. No.
No. PK is my original. I mean, if you wanna get embarrassed in a game, let me play Ness in original 64 Smash, and
Oh,
you're gonna get
I was about to say, you want to play Ness Smash right now in Ultimate? I was about to boot up the Switch like right. I was like right now. But 64, okay, we're gonna have to.
Listen, that's where you can use the up B and you can just spike people right off the edge. You know what I mean? And I'll edge guard you with the up B. That was my jam. I used to play Smash pretty competitively. I played in Melee. I used to play in the competitive scene all the time.
Nice.
I played Sheik though.
Okay, respectable. How do you fare in Ultimate right now?
I never really got into Ultimate. I played a little bit when it first came out with a couple of people who I knew in the pro community, and it was so the thing for me was I got so good at wave dashing. Like that was the biggest curve you had to kind of get over.
Definitely.
Was learning how to wave dash, and then once Ultimate came out, I was like, wait, all of that hard work I just put into learning how to play with these mechanics are gone.
Yeah, because it's the next game, bro.
Yeah, and that's fine, and that's fine. It just didn't catch on for me in a competitive sense, and I really enjoy playing Pokemon Trainer. I really enjoy playing Cloud and Sephiroth are really, really fun to just like hack and slash on with. I don't play it super seriously, but if we're talking competitive seriousness, I'll hop on Sheik and Melee, and that's where we're gonna have a fun time.
All right. So I will hit you up when we set that up because I know like you're in the competitive scene for Melee, and I know you're gonna laugh, but I'm telling you right now, man, I was there too, but I was a lot younger, and it's been a while. But I'm telling you, before you start laughing, all right, my Link was pretty nasty in Melee.
Oh, Link!
See, I see, there it is, the laugh. Yeah. I understand, like he's bottom garbage tier, but the thing is, I've used Link since the beginning. And I use him now, and I don't care. Like that's the thing between when it comes to me in the competitive scene. When I love a character, I will make them good.
Well, that's the thing about Smash, and I'll tell you right now, I had a buddy who won a tournament on Link to prove a point because people practice and prepare against meta characters. So when you come against a character that's not in that meta, you're like, oh shit, like what do I do? I haven't been. Yeah, so I think that there's a time and a place to play those characters, and I think that it's what's great about the fighting scene is you can kind of make any character good to a degree. So it's all about like, I mean, obviously you can hate pick things and you can like play counters and stuff, but yeah, I think if you are really good at something, you can utilize that uniqueness and play against the meta.
Definitely. But yeah, so I feel that's a good wrap up, a good note to end on. But I just like to thank you so much, Paul, for being here on the show, man. It's been really fun. I really had a blast with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, and thank you for having me on, and thank you to the chat. I really appreciate you all, and for playing the game, and for being fans of The World Ends With You and Neo. I'm just really, really honored and blessed to be a part of it, and I hope you guys enjoy the game when and if you get around to playing it.
Oh, guys, please, if you get the chance, and this is not no spiel thing or like shill thing, like literally, it's a really good game, and Paul being like front center as Lord Rindo makes it that much better because he does a phenomenal job in that role. So if you ever get the chance to play this game, please do. There is a free demo right now on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch where you can check it out for yourselves. And if you're able to grab the game, you will not regret it. But
yeah, heck yeah, and I get no money for saying that. So seriously, I really just so you guys know, it's been I'm playing it just like all of you, and I'm having a really, really good time. I think if you like Kingdom Hearts style, like that the style of characters, the outfits, the designs, and gameplay, you'll really enjoy Neo.
No, you're definitely going to. So with that being said, thank y'all so much for coming out to the return of the Fifth Dimension. Also note that the next 3 streams have already been locked in with further guests, and it will be revealed every Wednesday before the Friday of that stream. We're back, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys will continue to take your journey and diving deep and being brave within the Fifth Dimension. This has been your boy HMK with Paul Castro Jr., and we will check you guys later.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.